How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Angry Goose Gaming and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. If this is your first time visiting my channel, make sure you don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know exactly when I've got a new video out. Now, I don't know how many of these videos I'm going to do. I just thought it would be kind of cool to do this and revisit Afghanistan and kind of show off where I served while I was deployed here and show the area a bit. We got this nice F-18. So let's get this going here. Break off. Let's get in the air. And we're going to start off our journey. So those of you that don't know, I spent 8 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. I was in the Royal Canadian Dragoons, Canada's Senior Cavalry Regiment. And I deployed to Afghanistan in September 2008 till April 2009. When we arrived in Afghanistan, first thing we would do is we would fly into an airfield in Dubai, and we would get our personal weapons as well as a magazine of ammunition, 30 rounds each in case our plane goes down when we're en route to Kandahar. And we would land here at Kandahar Airfield. And this is the home of NATO for everybody pretty much that was in Kandahar. So here obviously we have the main runway. And on the left-hand side as we're looking at it, you have the main kind of encampment of the Fob. So you can see anybody that's been to Afghanistan here might recognize a couple major features down below at this little circle of water that is known as the Poo Pond or Lake Shitikaka. Those that have been here know why it's called that. And then if you look just forward of that, kind of where my indicator is pointing here, we would have, that's where the boardwalk about was, where we had the Tim Hortons and ball hockey rink, and several other amenities that kind of makes life a little more enjoyable in a war zone. After about a few days or so of kind of orientation, 2 to 3 days, just refresher on IEDs and stuff. For those of us that were pushing out would be then start moving out towards the forward operating bases. If you notice up here, we've got this kind of road here. This is the main road out of Kandahar Airfield, which is notable. You have, or at least there was when I was there was a large MiG aircraft that was at the front of the gate, kind of on that circle there. We're going to head up this way to the north. This is the main road coming down through Kandahar City. It's a very, very busy spot. I might throw some pictures in here just from the area so you can kind of see that the difference between the map here and the actual on the ground, and they actually did a pretty good job. It's a very good representation of what it looks like. So you get all these tons and tons of buildings here, huts. Kandahar City is kind of very busy like most Western cities and stuff. Very, very similar to driving around in any busy modern city. Depending on what units we were in the Canadian Forces, some of us would be in different areas here. Most of our battle group was in the Zari Panjwai district. We got this big kind of catcher's mitt here, mountain, Masamgar, where the Canadian Forces major base was. We pretty much, we came down and visited this area a few times, but we weren't down here too often. Mainly only when the battle group wanted to utilize our surveillance equipment. But down and around this area is where the White School is. If you've never heard of Operation Medusa, I highly recommend checking out a documentary, The White School. The Canadian Forces were involved in. It was actually the largest combat operation that NATO was involved in. Basically a huge offensive on the birthplace of the Taliban. About 1,500 Taliban the Canadians went up against. It was very, very intense. It was down around in this area here. I don't remember the exact location of the White School, but we're gonna head back now this way, back towards Kandahar City. And we'll head up to direction kind of where my squadron operated out of. neat kind of information from the arches in Kandahar city here. This main road all the way down to the Pakistani border, Spin Boldak. There's 203 culverts spanning that roadway, and I know that because my squadron, my troop in particular, we searched and cataloged every single culvert from our forward operating base all the way down to the border in Spin Boldak. And basically we would search them, catalog them, and we would check what kind of reinforcements there was. A lot of the grates, or a lot of the culverts had steel grating over the ends of them, so Taliban couldn't put, or made it more difficult for them to put IEDs in it. But yeah, we spent 2 days driving that road basically to the Pakistan border and doing all of those, checking all those culverts. But we would basically come to the main road here, and we would hit this other road, Wild Turkey, and it basically cut through the city this way, and it was always this very, very prominent feature here. This road cuts right through these mountains, these high features, and it's quite a spectacular sight to see. If I find a picture here, I'll kind of show it, and you can see what it looks like, but it's really, really nice. Well, we would come and cut through here, through the mountains, and we would take this main road, and we would cut down here. We're gonna go back and forth around here because it's just kind of, I should have gone with a slower plane, but we have this road here that's kind of skirts this riverbed, it's route Red Dog. Then we have this other route here. As you look, you can see this river kind of that follows that road. That's the Arghandab River. And that is through the Arghandab district, and we would head to our main operating base, our forward operating base, which was located up in the Shawalikot district. But as you can see, it's pretty, the terrain here is pretty intense, especially driving vehicles and such. And you do have these kind of features that make a lot of canalizing ground. If you can see here, you're kind of, a lot of spaces you're kind of stuck to a road. Now, I remember this one road here, Route Oregon, that follows the river, the Arghandab River. We were coming through here one day and came across a premature detonated IED, and it basically blew a hole right in the road, straight across. And we actually had to stop, and we searched the area, followed the trigger wire. We found a guy at the end of the trigger wire, and we tested him for gunshot residue, and he tested positive, so we detained him and brought him back to the FOB for further investigation. But yeah, it was just kind of around a sharp bend to this, and we came across, and the road was just kind of gone. So this was over here. This is called Checkpoint Darrell. There's a market on the other side of the bridge here, and then we kind of follow this road all the way up through this area. Kind of skirts all the way up this way, follows up through here. Over here, we have the Arghandab River, or correction, yeah, the Arghandab River. And it's the second largest dam in Afghanistan, the Dalla Dam. We did multiple foot patrols to here. Beautiful area. One time near the end of the tour, I think they did a patrol, and guys went for a swim. Not sure what kind of fish or anything, if there's any life in the river or anything, but this is a pretty major water feature here, because this water feature kind of supplies the breeding zone, Arghandab River, with water and stuff to grow the fruits and stuff that's plentiful down there. It's a pretty massive feature here. But this dam up here, the Dalla Dam, this position here, we had some Afghan police, Afghan army that would be here. And this position here would get attacked quite frequently by Taliban. Head up over here back towards the road. So you can see that kind of patch of buildings there, that gray patch area. So that was our forward operating base, Fob Frontenac. Often as well called Fob Fabulous, because we had a lot of creature comforts. Just gonna kind of take a free cam here. So yeah, this was our FOB here. The outside perimeter of this FOB was 2.5 kilometers long, which is very great to get some PT and stuff when you had some downtime. Now, this changed quite a bit since Canada was here. After we had left, my squadron left, other Canadian units were here for a little bit, but then we handed it over to the Americans that replaced us, and they put, I think, like a battalion here, 1,000 or so troops. My squadron here, we had about 170 in total, between 100 and 120 that kind of operated outside the wire. This is basically built in order to be close proximity to the Dalla Dam because they believe it was such a large opportunity target for the Taliban. This road here, this road was a major transitway the Taliban would use in order to transfer weapons and IEDs and all sorts of stuff down to the Kandahar area. So our job was basically to operate in this area and disrupt the Taliban from utilizing this route, which was very, very busy, very difficult. We would get attacked regularly at this fob here. They didn't really give us much gunfights, but they would use these kind of hills over here, and they would use the low areas, the valleys, and they would maneuver in through here and get as close as they can. And what they would do is they would come on the backside of these hills and they would set up rockets to timers, and then they would set the timers, and then they would use these kind of hills and stuff and valleys to sneak on out without being detected. And then rockets would go off and towards our fob, and they would, by the time they went off, the Taliban would be long gone and be with zero trace. So it was very difficult. We would generally, QRF would be spooled, quick reaction force. We would push out and kind of try and find the launch spots to see if we could catch anybody. But it was generally very, very difficult to catch anybody since of their vast knowledge of the land. So during my tour here, we got hit very, very hard. We had about 88% of the squadron was involved in at least one IED blast. We had at one point we had about 11% vehicle status, so only about 11% of our vehicles were up and running. We had 14 out of 19 vehicles get blown up. So at some points we had to do some dismounted foot patrols, which obviously in this kind of area is very, very difficult, very tiresome, exhausting. One of our foot patrols, we actually did a patrol around the forward operating base here through these hills, and we actually found some of the rocket launch points where we found some water bottles, batteries, just traces, things that you can tell that someone was there. And we basically skirted the whole outside perimeter of the fob to check that out, as well as dismounted patrols all the way to the Dalla Dam here, which is obviously, you can tell, it's a very long, exhausting journey up and through these hills and high features, and it was a very grueling day we did on that one. Lots of IEDs, like I said. We also had around this area on the road, don't remember the exact area, the exact location, sorry, but we did have a vehicle-borne IED. It was one of the largest vehicle-borne IEDs recovered. We're a recce platoon, 3 RCR, Royal Canadian Regiment. They were doing a vulnerable point search on this road here on a culvert, and they, while they were doing that, they had a Toyota kind of Jeep thing that approached the vehicle, and guy got spooked coming onto the patrol, and what happened is he stopped and turned around, and then he came back, basically got ordered to hit the patrol, but they found several large bombs, 3 large bombs in the vehicle. Basically, it was expected that it was supposed to target the front of our forward operating base, the front gate. So it was a kill radius of several hundred meters, and I think 1,500 meter injury radius. So it was a very, very large IED, and it was stopped, recovered back to the FOB. Explosives were blown in place, obviously. The FBI investigated it as well, and they found that both switches were armed, and they also found that the wire to the dead man switch was severed by a bullet. So it was pretty lucky that it didn't go off, and that's just kind of how war is a lot of the time. Okay, so down around this area here, we're coming through, going on an operation with, we're coming back from an operation with 3-2 Commandos, the British, that was up north in the Shawalikot district here. And we did a 9-hour road move back towards our fob from where we were. And we were coming through these, basically through all these hills and stuff up north there, coming back down towards the fob. Coming down through here, we were skirting one of these wadis here, and the wadi's a dried up riverbed. I don't remember one off the top of on the top of my head. I do have the 10-figure grid of the actual location. But coming into here at one location, crossing this wadi here, entering into it is where my call sign, 61 Delta. We hit our IED. It was a mobility kill of the vehicle. Luckily everybody walked out of it and recovered back to the fob, carried on. But down along this road here, we had, I said, there's lots and lots of culverts on this road, but in particular we had one section here where there was 4 culverts in a row. We refer to those as the 4 bitches, basically because it was always a bitch to deal with those culverts. Coming up to them, we would either have to skirt around them, or we would have to take the time to dismount and check every single culvert. The Taliban always put bombs in and around them. They would highly anticipate that we would bypass them or just go around them. So quite frequently they would accommodate for that and put IEDs in that location. We actually lost three guys in around that position. So it was very, very dangerous area. But this entire AO here, down basically south, or that way to the southeast, is the Arghandab district. Everything up towards the northeast, up this way, is Shawalikot. The Shawalikot area kind of goes way up north, or way east and northeast past this, where the fob is. So it's a very, very large AO. I think it's about 1,500 square kilometers in total that we had to patrol. Very, very rough terrain, so you can imagine what it was like driving armored vehicles through all of this. I'd actually ripped the fuel tank off my vehicle at one point going through the mountains, and we had to recover that and basically dump all the diesel out, and had to lift the fuel tank up onto one of the vehicles and strap it down and drive back like that, because recovery, getting a wrecker up in these and pulling the vehicle out is very, very difficult. We didn't want to leave anything down here for the Taliban. But very, very beautiful terrain. Very beautiful place. It's almost sad that it's been such war-torn and stuck in this war for 30, 40, 50 years. It's just, it would be a really, really beautiful place for our people to actually visit and go to, honestly. But yeah, it was very, very busy tour. We did somewhere around, I don't remember the exact number of patrols we did. We did hit 500 patrols. We did something like between 8 to 10 times the amount of patrols of the entire battle group, just to give kind of an idea of how busy we were. Basically, when we finished our tour, we were pretty beat, and we were ready to head her home. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. A little different, just kind of walk, fly, and talk, Joe around. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys want me to do more of this, let me know down in the comments. If you want me to check out some other places, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys